What's going on YouTube? It's your boy ShinBlade here, back with another video. This time we're going to be covering topics like on certain top players' opinions, mainly probably on Twitter or if it's a video. But this time this is a topic on Twitter from a player you guys know, Speedkicks. Speedkicks, I've been doing Speedkicks for a very long time. I believe he's in his like mid-20s now or late 20s. I've been knowing him since he was probably like an early teenager when he was discovered. And I was at Anakin's apartment, I believe, and we was watching a tournament he was in. He was like 13 or something. He won. He actually beat one of the best players in Atlanta named Clint, and ever since then Speedkicks been up and up. Now he's like one of the well-known top players in the world. Final round champion. I believe he just placed very well at EVO. I believe ninth place. He was either one or two games away from top 6. I believe it was only one game away from top 6. The Speedkicks, well respected player in the community, but we're about to start covering topics that I really want to cover, and respectfully, in my opinion, I'm not trying to shade anyone's thoughts, but I believe topics like this, as he made a comment about how SteveFox is now, I just want to lay in on it and give my opinion on what he put out there. What I'm gonna start doing, I'm gonna start covering topics, especially since this is about SteveFox. And I know I am the best SteveFox in America. I have a lot of support. I know I won the most tournaments, especially since most of my online, I won the majority of the events with SteveFox. And like I said, my opinion needs to count towards subjects like this. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, YouTube, this is the tweet that we've been talking about. The Speedkicks had his opinion on Steve. I'm accompanied by G6 and Stax.
Hey, yo.
Yo.
Yeah, so this is the tweet. That this is, from my perspective, this is his opinion on it. But like I said, people's opinions on these characters, they travel and it spreads like wildfire. Let's start from the top. He said, be solid character, get broken rage drive, become broken, lose home and mid for balance. I believe he's talking about Tekken 7 losses. Lose rage drive and mid kind of hit launcher for game design. Yeah, he's talking about the rage drive with SteveFox. There was a launcher Sonic Fang, which is kind of top 3 in the game. Now he's talking about the down for 2, but the mid kind of hit launcher. There was tracking, and you got a Shiro combo forward. He does not have that no more. Now he saying he was a counter hit punching Paragon basically with no mid launcher. Now, my opinion on this is Steve is a whole different character now. He doesn't really rely on counter hits. I've never got any complaints out of him. Like I said, I won plenty of events, and he's got a good substitute for his losses. For example, the down 4-2 combo, he got like tops of 50, 53, 52 damage. Now his down 4-2 combo, down 4-2 to Rise 2-2 or Rise 1-2 is around that damage. Same thing with back 2. Back 2 is a launcher in Tekken 7. Now it's only back 2 to a free hit. It's 55, 56 damage. Tekken 7, you got the same damage for a hard combo. Like I said, he's a different character now. And we're gonna go to the comments, and I'm gonna give G6 and Stats get their opinion on what they also think about SteveFox as well.
Yeah, look, I definitely. The funny thing is, the way that Steve is played right now, I do agree with you, Shan. Like, he's a different character now. I think people got to remember that we are in a new game, and with the new game being made, they're adding new mechanics. You know, talking about things like the heat, system. And Steve is designed for this new game. People got to remember that we can't keep the same mindset of an older character in a different game, because this is a whole new system. So right now, with the mechanics he has with like Lionheart, the parry within Lionheart, he has up back 2 now, which is a fully tracked high, that is plus. He also has a fake up back 2 that goes into a mid counter hit launcher. So he still does have a mid counter hit launcher that is also safe as well. He has back 1-2, which is a new string going into Lionheart that he can also cancel. So it's like, there's different ways to play this character now, and I feel like we're getting stuck in the old ways of maneuvering with this character, which is why this tweet was made. I feel it's just a little bit of misinformation, maybe. I could take it out of context, I'm not too sure. But just with the way that it's worded, this is just what I'm getting from it, though.
Not G kind of hit the nail on the head there. It was just more so the way he kind of lined up the tweet was just to say like everything that he had in 7, they kind of miss it now in Tekken 8, and they're now calling him quote unquote a weaker character because he's missing some of the stuff that made him top 5 in Tekken 7, in which I think it's just people aren't gonna be used to playing a new version of a character, especially with how long the game's been playing. When a character gets changed up completely, people are willing to just go like the lengths to say their ass until they finally get their character to be how they shape them to be over the years.
Yes, and like I feel like if you're not a specialist and you just picking him up and you playing him and going, like Speedkicks is an amazing player. He can play Steve to the highest rank, but that's pretty much as far as gonna go. If he's not trying to specialize in him, but he might be stuck in the old ways of playing him, and he finding it difficult to beat good players with him. We'll get into that after this though. But like I said, I do believe if they take a step back and look around, cause it is more Steve players than me out there now, and they are playing the new Steve way, the new style of Steve, and they're having no complaints out of it, because I believe Steve will be extremely overpowered if he still had the homing down for it too. Cause now I replaced that with my Lionheart too. You know what I'm saying? So I bait attacks, and I'm highly successful with going into Lionheart 2 or Lionheart 1. It doesn't matter. Like the hop back, the Lionheart added a whole new gameplay or style to Steve Fox that you don't have to rely on the basic boxing style he had in the previous Tekken games. Now he's more loose now. You can do way more with him now, especially in flicker stance. Like I said, the Lionheart stance, more setups. He's more aggressive. More of his aggressive moves going to heat. People always say about his tracking. I believe down 2-1, rocket launcher, Avatar 2 has fairly fair tracking. But like I said, the way Steve is played now, I believe people like Speedkicks, I see FeedX messing with him. They don't understand that he has a new game style now. I understand they can play the original style and beat good players still, but at the highest level, you would have to adapt to how he's played now. So let's get into the comments. Let's scroll down. First comment, Ranchu, I think his problem is only damage. Now, like I said, Jesus got an opinion on the best Steves in the world, and I think we can say that, you know, with a positive, as in America has the best Steve players. What you think about that?
Yeah, so I think when it comes to creativity, execution from what I've seen so far, and then I guess also a part of my own personal experience with playing against these players, which I'll name off now, being ShinBlade, obviously, being one of the best that I've played so far as like high-level Steve gameplay, execution, combos with great damage, and, you know, just overall maneuvering with the character in this new system. Additionally, you have Gohanify as well. Shouts out to him for being very, very creative, execution heavy, of course, along with creativity. And then obviously a lot of people know Code Red with, you know, massive creativity, you know, intro to a lot of new combos with Steve. He's always learning new things about this character. He's always looking to basically kill you for anything that you do as far as punishment goes, you know, with good execution. And with all of these high level players playing this character, you're able to see the multiple different ways and avenues that he can utilize to even get great damage. Like Steve has multiple ways of getting you in 40% to 50% health being taken away from you with the smallest things. Of course, back one being one of his highest damage counter hit combos. Lionheart 2, you've seen some of the creativity even on Twitter from Code Red, ShinBlade, as well as Gohanify as well, and any others that I've missed. And these are just two of the launchers that I've brought out so far. And when we talk about Steve's damage, I feel like we're not looking at all the different ways that he can get damage. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the wall push, but the wall push in this game, he's able to get at least 70% off of a wall push now with good execution, going into peekaboo forward 1+2. And majority of Steve players who are playing this character at a high level are able to execute this more than 80% of the time, which is a great percentage rate for taking away about 60 to 70% of your life bar just from you not breaking a 1+2 grab at the wall.
Not to mention, it's a fast 1+2 as well. It's not like a normal 1+2 or like break where you command grab.
The fast one, yeah, like you gotta break it fast. Like you said, there's more ways to get damage. We didn't mention the sway back 1 to the Sonic Fang. Like he has, like, it's more ways for him to get damage. The Lionheart 1+2 guard break. Yeah, so like he's a different character. He's not a counter character no more. And it's, you know, I've never had a problem accepting it. You know, I've been playing with Steve for 20 years and I've always been, you know, we have to look for the counter hit to get our damage. Damn near maybe I'll win. But now I'm able to beat more people because this new style of Steve is based off strictly off your reactions and your playstyle, your movement. And now, you know, and a lot of success comes from it. Look at Newman CH, top 8, TWT. And he gave a lot of people hell in Pakistan. And I've watched a lot of regionals when Steve players I don't know the name of won regionals in America. So Steve is a very good character. We just go through the those are coming from Ranchu. We got coming from Zoke saying the worst character in the game. We don't believe that. Coming from Propane. I've been saying this since day 1. I've been saying back 2 needs to be 15. Now, yo, if back 2 is 15 frames, like I said, if Steve gets any significant buff, he could go into top 3 easy. Right now, in my opinion, he's easily could be a top 10, but arguably like top 7, but easily top 10. But he wants back 2 to be 15 frames or make down 4-2 homing again. Now I have said it before, but I thought about it. Like I said at the beginning of this video, if down 4-2 gets a homing back, Steve would be extremely broke. That means he'll have no problem going in and going out. As in pressing offense, keeping you still, and jumping back in Lionheart. That'll be a real big issue. So I do give a hats off to the dev team. I don't know if they did it on purpose, but that would be a very annoying thing to deal with if Steve can have that power to keep pressing in with his down 4-2 and also able to press back and launch it full. Then he said down 4-2 now. Down 4-2 homing again since it doesn't launch, which is fine. Or at least track it a bit better. And we're gonna double down on this comment right here. This one sticks out to me. Gang is done. He said clearly not enough sway and Lionheart was done.
It has to be facts though, Kippa. It's just so crazy to think about, like, some of the people that their opinion on Steve, and I feel like they're not watching enough Steve. I think that's my biggest thing. Like, the only Steve you probably see is your random rank run or whatever maybe posting on Twitter with the clips, which is crazy enough as is. But if you sat down and just watch someone play Steve and they try to decipher like the gameplay between one another, you can tell who's probably the better Steve player whenever you sit down and watch. Like, I remember literally watching Code Red in person at Combo Breaker, and it was a complete like enigma, his Steve compared to some of the other Steves I saw in bracket. Like, the other Steve players like saw him, you know, came and cheered him on because how well he was playing him compared to how they did.
Yeah, and there's no knock. I just want to emphasize this, by the way, for everybody. You know, when you hear us discuss this, there's no knock to anyone's skill, but I do believe that there is a significant difference between two things: being a character specialist, being a good Tekken player. Those are two different things. Like, you know, I would like to consider, myself, ShinBlade, even Stax, as we're discussing this topic, to be, predicting players. But we have different characters that we specialize in. So as we're playing the game with our characters that we specialize in, it's going to look different than if we were to play a character that we didn't. So when I'm seeing higher level players like, of course, Speedkicks, as we all know, for example, we've seen him on Horang, and he can do damage. Like, the way he can make that character look is, just one of the best in the world from what we've seen, right? But as we see him maneuver over to a different character, we're still going to see him probably beat a lot of the higher level players because he's just a good Tekken player. But it doesn't make him a character specialist when he's talking about this character being Steve, and even what you're seeing on the screen. When we're talking about things like Lionheart, you're maneuvering with guard breaks, your stomp mix-ups, even we're talking about the wall push to take away that significant damage. All of these things is what you're gonna see majority of the time from a character specialist rather than just a high-level player who's picking up and using the character just to win, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
So yeah, overall, I would just say that, and like I said, it could have just been the verbiage that was used. I want to make sure not taking anything out of context, of course, but with the way it was kind of put together, it was just looking like it was being emphasized that there was a bit of downplay on some of the things that he's lacking. Now, of course, every character could have improvement in some way, shape, or form. But it just seems like what we're pinpointing within this tweet is emphasizing no mid counter hit launch, which he does have, and then just emphasizing the things that he's lost in Tekken 7. And if we're talking about things somebody's lost in Tekken 7, I kind of find that to be irrelevant when we're talking about a new game mechanic within the system when we're talking about Heat and Tekken 8. Because we have new moves that is applied to this character in Tekken 8. So if we're going to discuss something and like things that he could be lacking or improve, we still got to emphasize the new mechanics that he has, and I feel like that may be lost a bit, which is shouted out to Genghis Dom for, bringing that up.
Yes. Yes, because they didn't emphasize none of his new moves, which that's his new playstyle. You know what I'm saying? The Lionheart is part of the reason why he lost those mechanics. You know what I mean? And I believe they said that the rage drive is gone, but he has 3 moves in Heat that gives him combo stars. You know what I mean? And they are easily catchable. The Albatross 2 and the rocket launcher. You know what I mean? So those wasn't, that's the easy replacement for Sunny Fang. Sunny Fang was 14 frames, but rocket launcher is also his further is also a launch. You know what I mean? So it compensates for what they missed. You know what I'm saying? But in this game, of course, more people got that trait, but not as easy to go into it. You know what I mean? Like the launchers on their Heat. He didn't get Heat.
Yeah. And it's good to emphasize too that they also buffed Steve as well, which I feel like we're not discussing enough. Like, think about the fact that they have given him access to a 14 frame while standing punish, being Sonic Fan now. So like that, and then also the Lionheart being cancelable now. I believe before, correct me if I'm wrong, Shin, prior to the patch, he was stuck in Lionheart if he was doing a move that led into it, so now you have the option of even canceling it to make it a mix-up on its own.
Yes, making a mix-up on its own. Right as a 2-2, if you hold back, it's 10 frame punish. You're going to Lionheart. Of course, most of 10 frame punishes are highs. You can back sway it or regular sway it. So now it's a mix-up when Steve does Rise 2-2 or 4-2-2. Yeah, so those are some changes that people do not look into. But we're gonna wrap it up. That's all we want to cover on it. Like I said, amazing player. Whenever we make these videos, it's not to slight anyone. Again, we're just gonna respectfully cover it on our side.
Everyone's entitled to opinion, so of course, if you have an opinion or whatnot, don't be afraid to leave it in the comment section. We'll probably read it. Not probably, we will read it and give our answer and our take to whatever you got to say and whatnot. Just remember to be respectful of others and their opinions. Don't go at nobody, and don't go above and beyond with some of the things we say and try to take anything we say out of context.
Definitely very important to note. Yeah, like I said, it's a good touch. everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and I'm very curious to see like what your guys' experiences are when you play Steve. Like Stax mentioned, you know, probably a lot of these comments come from like your own personal experiences that you have with the character. So I'm definitely just curious to know like what your experiences are, you know, one of the better players that you've seen use the character, and even like what some of the experiences you've had in game with the character, whether you use him or not when you're playing against him.
That concludes the video on the topic of what Speedkicks tweeted. Like I said, everything respectfully. In our opinion, like I said, Steve Fox is a new and improved, in my opinion, a character as a whole. Like I said, when you guys watch me stream now, you could take my Tekken 7 career versus my Tekken 8 early gaming career, and you can compare it. I did a lot of complaining on Steve towards season 4, of course, and now you get nothing out of me. I love everything they did with him. I believe he's like actually a full character. He not just this block cheap character, but it's a cheap back one. And speaking of counter hit launch, that's the only counter hit launch that I'm looking for. Everything else is just reaction, and I'm straight boxing, jumping back. So what? But like I said, Steve Fox is a new character. You gotta really utilize the character now. I believe you try to play him the old way, you will get the frustration as some of these players are getting now. But other than that, let me know your opinion. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment below. See you guys in the next one. Peace.